Good morning. Just so majestic, these birds. Look at that reflection. Keep it up, lady. The way they glide in. Tiberius with the sun glistening on some of the windows, reflecting. We don't have to go far to get a nice window reflection. I thought I'd get some up in the lobby, but that's not happening right now. So let's enjoy this one here. It's good to be back in Magdala. You notice the flowers are still blooming there abundantly at the Ponciana. In case you don't believe me, here you go. But nothing like the real one, not just the reflection. It's marvelous to enjoy the company of human beings. We're reflections, image and likeness, the contemplation of God, of our Creator. It's so fulfilling for the soul. As much as you think of the best friends you have, the best companions you have in life, the best work colleagues, the best conversationalists, the best encouragers, just the absolute best company. And we're just image and likeness of our Creator. What a treasure human beings are, but an infinitely, completely other level treasure God is. I don't know how people could imagine they'd be bored in heaven. How could anybody who loves music be bored to be with Mozart or Beethoven or whichever musical genre they like, they enjoy, that lifts them up, that sets them on fire, that leads them into deep reflection and thought and serenity, into beauty. And they are also just image and likeness of what heaven will be. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard what the Lord has in store for those who love Him. Somehow I notice when I'm away for a couple of weeks, the birds seem to be more skittish, they go away from, and they're far out from me here, you know. The water, you can notice how the water has gone down. You hardly notice when you're seeing it every day, but it's going down. But then being away for a few weeks, it really tells. You can see the difference, the exposure of the land. The bougainvilleas in full bloom here. There are lots and lots and lots of nuggets in the readings today that are maybe even more than nuggets. I really encourage you to ponder them, to get into them and experience the impact in your heart and soul, in your mind and your thoughts, in your imagination, the impact for your relationships. And even though the two readings follow different trains of thought and circumstances, Paul is in prison. He's close to the end of his life, going to be martyred. And Jesus has thousands of people following him on the way to Jerusalem, being cheered. Everybody wants to be close to him, to be healed. And he tells them, you know, it's a tough road we gotta hoe. You gotta be able to deny yourself completely. To follow me. What do you think? Do you think that Jesus would contravene the commandments, the 10 commandments? Do you have evidence for that in the Gospels? Well, there's one word in today's text could seem like that. His words seem to counter the first commandment completely. If you do not hate father and mother, you cannot be my disciple. But what does the fourth commandment say? To honor your father and your mother. But we know so many times that Jesus advocates a love for father and mother that actually in some very extreme cases he really corrects an abuse that was happening, that people could set aside their property as an offering to God and neglect the care of their elderly parents who needed help. And he said, you cannot do that. And he praised the rich young man. He really appreciated that this rich young man was keeping all the commandments, and the first social commandment is to honor your parents. So this leads into the question, what does it mean to hate? And we have some clues in the first books of the Bible. It would be called the Torah or the Pentateuch. And there we have Jacob loving Rachel and hating Leah. Well, he doesn't hate Leah. He loves her, but he much prefers Rachel. There's a very interesting commentary of that in our Australian friend, Daily Gospel Exegesis, if you want to check it out. He goes into detail in this, and also Tim Gray commented. So it's a Semitic way of ordering preferences. So Jesus is absolutely not contravening a commandment. On the contrary, he would be the first defender of the love for parents and honoring parents, but not more than God. You see, here's the big point: to love God with all our heart and all our soul and all our sin, even to the point, it says, of hating your own life. Like hating your parents. Well, no, but it's the idea you can lay down your life, like firemen do, like first responders, especially in conflict situations, war situations. So many people are so generous to go to help. I knew one man who went to Rwanda in the height of the conflict, Belgium. He just felt a tremendous interior call because his country had been very involved in the colonialism, and he just felt that some Belgians needed to go, and he lost his life. He went to help the cause of peace and reconciliation. It was a very special case. But parents lay down their lives for their children all the time. It's not a big act of martyrdom in the sense of sensational, because it's just losing a night's sleep, having a very broken sleep because of a teething baby, and they're comforting and giving themselves. It's to prefer God above everything else. And there we see Paul pouring out his life like a libation. A libation is a special offering that's given to God. And he's speaking about joy. And he says, if you look at the last words of the text, it's quite amazing, you know. But even if I am poured out as a libation upon the sacrificial service of your faith, I rejoice and share my joy. So he's laying down his life. He's going to be martyred by the sword because he's a Roman citizen. He won't be crucified like Peter will be. But he's filled with joy. How do you do the math there? Isn't that beautiful? We have the birds in the background here providing music to go with the color. The world God has given us. Interesting that in contrast to worldly leaders, they say vote for me, root for me, support me, join my effort to make me strong. Jesus saying, hey, think twice about coming with me. It's a tough road to hoe. A tough road to hoe. Deny yourself, take up your cross and follow me. Sometimes we look to certain leaders, certain groupings, certain associations as our hope. They're going to really be our hope and help us out. But the Psalm says, the Lord is my light and my salvation. We feel inspired sometimes by philosophers or some preachers. But the Lord is the one providing the light and the salvation. Obviously, through all the creatures, through the parents, through the gifts He's given me in my life, through the people who speak into my life, teachers, parents, grandparents, friends, spouse.